Hi, I'm Chike Coleman, that's Chike, and this is Real Reviews, the Cinematic Underground, the show where we talk about movies and sometimes other stuff. This week, we're reviewing one film, but we're talking about a whole universe of films. That's right, it's that time. Avengers Infinity War has been released in theaters, and we're here to be your experts on it. So how do you want to start this? Like, do you want to talk about the 10 years of films and what they mean to you, Chuck?
Dude, it's your show.
Why not? I'll let you start. What are the 10 years of films of Marvel mean to you? Are they all good? Are they all bad? Or somewhere in the middle? What do you think?
I would say that none of them have been bad necessarily. Obviously, you like some more than others. And I think that that's one of the great things about this thing is that they've been incredibly consistent as far as the product that's been put on the screen. Unbelievably ambitious as well. I mean, we've never had anything like this. And for them to have been able to pull this off, I think, is a remarkable thing. One thing that they don't really talk about is the fans that they have made. I mean, these comic book films already have a ready fan base, you know, with people who have already been familiar with the characters, read the comic, or seen these characters in another medium. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there's no way of gauging this or getting an accurate number, but I think the fact that they have brought new people into this universe, people who have never been interested in superheroes or had never encountered these characters before are now just so fully invested, I think that is an incredible thing as well. But again, the overall quality of these things has been very, very consistent. Like I say, you like some more than the others, but I would say there's probably only one I did not like, and out of 19 films, that's a pretty good record.
What was the one film you did not like, and did Marvel reach an apex for you at some point in their phases before Infinity War?
I was not crazy about the last Thor film. I know everyone loved that, but I thought they just pressed the comedy a little bit too much, and that the film was too long. I guess if I had to pick one, it would be Captain America: Winter Soldier. For me, that's still the best of them because it's the smartest film that they've made, and it's also just so in tune politically with concerns that we're dealing with now. Yeah, you might say that these characters are 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 years old, but the way these films are written and the stories told, they still have resonance today when they're done right. And Winter Soldier, I think, did that better than any of them.
As much as you think I would probably go with Black Panther here as the best Marvel film out of the 10-year canon of Marvel films, my favorite is one after yours, which is Civil War, because of the political implications of all that. And the political implications of what being a superhero costs governmentally, federally, countrywide, throughout the different countries that this universe takes place in, either real or fictional. I think the cultural zeitgeist of these films in both looking at the way we as human beings value or devalue life is what makes these films so interestingly dynamic. Because, to be perfectly honest, people and audiences were crying out for a hero, and they got one in the form of a jerky smartass in Iron Man, and they realized this is kind of what we need, somebody who can be realistic with us. It's a shame that we couldn't do that in our own political presidency, but that's a different topic for a different day. I think these films all have some small form of merit. However, the strongest point of them is that they're always a team. They're always communicating, or even when they're not communicating and they're fighting, the whole thing works because you care about who you're watching on screen. That's something you've taught me from the very beginning. You have to care about the story, or even if you don't care about the story, you have to care about the characters you're watching on screen. And Marvel has been the one company that has been very successful in doing that.
I would agree.
Having said that, though, moving on to Avengers Infinity War, again directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, everybody is kind of split off into different directions. You've got the space section of the film. You've got the Earth section of the film in Wakanda. You've got all these different characters that are on their own separate mission to find and capture these Infinity Stones. First, initially starting off with Thor's piece of it, with him possessing the Space Stone, and Thanos having to retrieve that. Because Thanos' goal, everyone, is to... what's the word I'm looking for here?
Gather, acquire.
Gather all the Infinity Stones and equalize the population. Basically cutting it by half at random, both rich and poor. And of course the Avengers have to stop that. This film should have been called Thanos Infinity War, because he, to me, is the strongest character in this film. Yes, we get interactions with Iron Man and Captain America and Vision and Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man and Hulk. They all show up, but really isn't their film. It's Thanos' film. And to a point you can agree with him why he would want to split the population in half to avoid all these societal problems that he himself experienced on his home planet, but to enforce that on everyone else is where the villainy kind of comes in. But he's not doing it out of anger or bitterness
or greed
of any kind. He just wants a steady flow of societal life. For me, this film is clunky. The action set pieces are nice, the special effects are well done. The character beats that were given with the specific characters and the groupings is good. I specifically like the little moments with Scarlet Witch and Vision. I like the moments that you have with Captain America and Bucky. I like the moments you have with Hulk, basically realizing that sometimes you can't beat something with anger, you have to outsmart it. But he realizes that a little too late. And I love the complex relationship between Iron Man and Doctor Strange, who are basically mirrors of each other, thinking that they're the smartest person in the room. And if you add Peter Quill and his Guardians to the mix, that also creates an interesting dynamic for Thor, somebody who's intergalactic, who's interacting with all these other intergalactic beings. This movie is smart. It plays well with its character dynamics, but its story lacks the heartbreaking power punch that we need until pretty much the very end. I liked it, but I didn't love it. Chuck, what did you think of Avengers Infinity War?
I think the first, you're right, the first hour is real clunky. They're trying to, and having to set the table by introducing all these characters, that did not go smoothly. And there were just too many fights and battles right off the bat as well. I thought that was a bit jarring and unnecessary because, as you'd pointed out, this whole thing is about the characters and caring for the characters. And I wanted to see them talk and interact more, not fight right off the bat. But once the table was set, I thought that it moved pretty well. The last 90 minutes, I thought, smoothed out. And there were some definite dramatic moments there that were effective. There's a moment between Thanos and his daughter, Gamora, that is wonderful and probably the highlight of the film. And also a nice little surprise, a character that, even though he doesn't have much of an impact on the movie, I was thinking I would never see him again, and him popping up I thought was really neat.
Yeah, nobody thought they would see him again.
So that was out of the blue, but when he explained why he was there, I was like, oh, okay.
Makes sense here?
Good enough.
I mean...
it's a calculated film, what with the ending and everything like that, but, it had to happen. And it's going to be interesting. It's been interesting to see all the theories that have come out since the release of this in regards to what happens next and how are they going to get out of this and are they really in the state that we think they're in.
Yeah.
And that's a tribute to the Marvel films and their marketing, that they have created this fervor, this enthusiasm for this product. And it's going to be interesting to see the bridge films between this and that one, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. Will be out before those two, and their presence obviously is going to have an impact on Avengers 4.
I'm more excited about Captain Marvel than I am Ant-Man and the Wasp, but that's just me. I want to see what Brie Larson can bring to the role, and I'm really excited to see what Fat Nick Fury looks like. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Fat Nick Fury with hair. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I think the strongest character in the film was either Thanos, And the strongest emotional beat, as you said, is definitely Gamora and Thanos. Or I would argue a second placeholder on that. Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yeah, that was very nicely done as well.
I think it is a film that if you've followed most, not all of these films, most of them, you should go and see Avengers Infinity War and see what all the fuss is about. If you've never watched a Marvel movie since the canon has begun, I would say go back, watch Iron Man, Avengers, and then the Captain America movies, and then go see Avengers Infinity War. I don't know. What do you think? Is that a good?
I don't know. It's as good a place as any. I mean, with, all of them have a little bit of a piece, of the whole. But
Yeah.
as far as getting to know the characters,
Yeah.
that's probably the way to go.
Indeed. The other thing I wanted to talk with you about in this episode is something we haven't talked about in a while. The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Are you liking where things have gone or headed to, or the casualties that have been hit?
I have. For the most part, I still enjoy the show. We're in season 4. I won't say that it remains fresh, but it remains interesting. I haven't gotten bored with it yet. But there is a sense that nothing is ever permanent there, which I think is something that most superhero projects suffer from, as far as the dramatic tension and things like that are concerned. So with this show, I've learned to wait until the end of the season, before, when the dust settles, to just see how everything is going to play out and what tricks they have up their sleeve.
In previous seasons, I know that you were either as equally as excited or more excited than me about The Flash. And I think I finally pinpointed, at least from my perspective, what's been missing. The emotional component, which you thought would have occurred if you're current, right?
Yeah.
Which you thought would have occurred 3 episodes ago with the death of a certain character that I won't mention. But I didn't feel anything when that happened. I didn't feel anything when Barry and the team lost other people this season. And what do you think
why
is
do you
the
think
cause
that
of that?
is? I don't know.
I think the reason behind it is you didn't give us enough time with those characters for us to go, oh, that's kind of awful. I really feel bad for the team. I don't want this to happen. Season 1, you had a lot of background on Ronnie Raymond before he bit the dust in season 2. Mm-hmm. You had a lot of background on HR before he died at the end of last season. So I feel like the story needs to be told well with the characters that they're planning on killing off before they kill them off.
So you think they're in too much of a hurry?
Yeah, too much of a rush.
What's the name of the show?
I'm fully aware of that, Chuck.
Just saying.
But I think, I want to feel empathy for the Flash. And right now I feel like he's, I won't say a spoiled kid with good powers. He's kind of a kid who is a little bit more measured than he was in previous seasons. Mm-hmm. But isn't really learning as fast, quote unquote, as I would like him to about life, loss, and making his team really be as outstanding as it could be. If Iris West was not there, being at the front of the command center, mm-hmm. I think the whole thing would fall apart. Because she's really the thing that's been pushing this season forward for me. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. I do. I do.
And the same thing is true with, Caitlin Snow and her issues with Killer Frost. Mm-hmm. Those are the only 2 components I'm emotionally invested in. Anytime they're on screen, I get excited. But not in the romantic way, just excited in general because I know there's a story to tell there. But yeah, that's what I think of The Flash. Are there any shows that are intriguing you at the moment?
I haven't had time to watch much of anything. Other than The Flash, my son and I, we've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that's about it.
I mean, that show is hilarious. Did you see the episode where Andy Samberg has the lineup, and they have to do the line of the Backstreet Boys?
Yes. We watched that one just the other night.
Oh,
Very funny.
oh, very funny, very good. I do love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I do hope it is renewed for another season because that show is just,
It remains funny.
it remains funny and remains strong in terms of its cast. So I would like to see more seasons of that as well. There is one show I want to recommend to you. I'm not talking about Mr. Robot this time, don't worry. There is a show called This Close, and it's on Sundance now. And it chronicles the lives of two best friends who live in Seattle, and they are deaf.
What?
They're deaf.
Huh?
They're
Oh, Chike.
and the entire show is in sign language.
Okay.
And it's about how they navigate their world. They're in their 30s, and
This close.
yeah, and one of them is a writer, and the other one is I want to say a marketing person or a publicist for a company. And I've not seen very many shows in my lifetime about disability. I know if I name this one show, you'll probably say, yeah, I saw it, but it was crap. Mantis
Never saw it.
with Carl Lumbly. You never saw it?
Nope.
All right, fair enough. That was one show where that exists, of course. And the other one, of course, that everybody knows of if they were born in 1950 or later, Ironside.
Oh, yeah.
So there are very few disability-friendly television shows that exist on the
so Marlene
United
Matlin's in it.
States, and that's one of them. So yeah,
Marlene Matlin's in this, right?
yes, she is for a few episodes. So it's a great show.
Zach Gilford. Where do I know
Friday
him
Night
from?
Lights.
Friday Night Lights. That's light, right? Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, so it's quite an engaging series, and that's my next recommendation for you
Cheryl
this
Hines
summer.
is in it.
Yep, Cheryl Hines too,
See, I'm getting into this.
and the kid from Breaking Bad,
Oh.
R.J. Mitty, has one episode in there as well.
I will. And how many episodes do we have?
6. They're only 30 minutes. You should be able to burn through it like
I'm all for
applewood
it.
smoke.
See, that I can handle. 6 episodes, 30 minutes.
See,
That I can fit in.
I'm learning now. I don't put you with things that are 13 episodes, which are each an hour long.
Not going to happen.
I was never going to recommend to you This Is Us, although it is a fantastic show.
My brother says that too, although he's not been happy this year.
Of course he hasn't. They finally revealed the one thing that has been huge about that show for the last 2 seasons.
Well, and he said it wasn't worth the wait.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. But I am, however, excited for The Bad Samaritan. Have you seen it? The movie?
Anyone snuck into town? No. I didn't even get a notice to see it ahead of time. So, yeah, I don't know how that just kind of...
That is an
crept in.
interesting film. And then our token urban film out this year, the Gabrielle Union
Breaking In?
Breaking In. I'm kind of intrigued by that, despite it looking simple.
Okay.
Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Well, I just want to mention Lean on Pete, which is up at the Art Theater. Probably my favorite film this year. About a young man, Charlie Plummer, plays a guy named Charlie, actually. We saw him in All the Money in the World.
Okay.
And he's a kid who's 15. His dad should never have been a father. They're living on the edge of poverty. The kid has a lot of time in his hands, and he gets involved with a racetrack that's not too far away. And he comes under the wing of this crusty old horse trainer played by Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
And one of the horses that the character has is named Lean on Pete. And the kid becomes very attached to the horse, and things happen. I would compare it to the Florida Project as far as how it examines American poverty. And this kid just breaks your heart because he makes a couple decisions that are not very sound decisions and ends up paying dearly for them. And this examination of living day to day, hand to mouth on the streets is very, very bracing, and really kind of shook me up, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
So one of the most heartfelt movies I've seen in a long time. Lean on Pete. So get to that one. It's at the Art, hopefully for more than 1 week.
I will be getting to that myself. Maybe something I recommend to Sanford Hess, my other co-host. I actually asked him about it before this filming, and he said he wasn't interested because it felt like another man in this horse movie.
Not even close.
But it's
And that was
much
my
more
impression
than
too.
that.
But yeah, no, it's more than that.
Okay. All right. Well, we will talk about it the next time I see you, because there's a bunch of films that we said we would talk about we haven't gotten to, and I want to get to those. But are you excited for Solo: A Star Wars Story? I just want to ask that real quick.
Yeah, it looks like fun. You know, I know everyone's already dooming this thing for some odd reason, but no, I'm looking forward to it.
I think because this is the first one that larger America has looked at that's been highly publicized as a change of directors. People are like, I don't know how to feel because I was expecting one thing and now it's going to change.
Well, I think that's no. I don't. They're charting this thing for a $160 million opening. I think America is more than ready to embrace this.
I would agree. So until next time, I'm Chike Coleman, and that's Chike Polanski. You can find his work at thenewsgazette.com and also the IllinoisTimes.net, right?
Com.
Com.
Yeah,
Okay.
we say that.
Com. Sorry.
Okay.
We will see you soon. Keep watching movies. Bye.